So, welcome to your week 6 practice, your warrior wisdom practice. So, the intention for our practice today is to create a sense of grounding. What I would really love for you by the end of this practice today and by the end of your pink moon circle is for you to feel powerful, strong, really confident, and very much connected to the present. We've got a gorgeous meditation to do today. So, if you have any essential oils, I will highly recommend making sure you've got some essential oils. And then for the next part of meditation, you can either use a flower if you have access to some flowers, always a good excuse to buy yourself flowers. If you don't, you can also use one of your crystals, and you could actually use anything. You can use anything for that part of the practice. And then the last little bit, if you've got a little piece of chocolate, which you can tell is clearly the object of obsession for George right now, which is why I've put him here, because he really wants my little piece of chocolate and I'm not sharing it with him. If you don't have any chocolate, you can use a little bit of fruit. Anything small is perfect. Chocolate is actually perfect because it melts. Always a good excuse to have some chocolate as well. So whenever you feel ready, coming into your meditation posture, whether that is cross-legged, whether that is seated on a cushion, whether that is up on your shins, just however you feel the best. And we're going to begin our practice today by engaging our 5 senses. So when you're ready, just gently closing your eyes. Your hands just resting either on your lap, on your knees, or down onto the floor. Just starting to bring your awareness in towards yourself, away from your external environment. Just taking a couple of breaths to make that commitment to yourself. Leaving behind whatever else has happened today, whatever we're anticipating happening tomorrow. Just giving ourselves the full opportunity to be present. Fully committed to ourselves, our own well-being, our own feelings, our own body for the next 90 minutes or so. We all have different reasons or different circumstances that bring us onto our yoga mats. Let yourself have a real opportunity this evening to fully appease all of those different circumstances and reasons. Fully engaged and fully present within your practice. Pulling your tailbone down into the ground, lifting tall from the crown of your head, your spine fully aligned. And even though we've got that activation through the spine, allowing all the muscles in your body to feel soft and relaxed. Any tension in the shoulders or the jaw, just allowing that to go now. Starting to gift yourself with a deep diaphragmatic breath, breathing with intention, adding some depth, adding some length into your breath. Might feel like that's the first big deep breath that you've taken all day. Full deep breath in through your nose, all the way into the depths of the belly. And full deep breaths out through the mouth, completely emptying the body, giving yourself that feeling of letting go. Intention to be fully present in your practice today, fully present in your place in the universe, the space you hold, the space you take up. We're going to do this by engaging our 5 senses, awakening the 5 senses. Now just starting with your ability to hear, connecting to sound. Wherever you find yourself in this very second, what can you hear? Tune into all the different sounds that you can hear. Whether they're sounds that are close by or sounds that are far away. Acknowledging your experience of the world right now through that sense. Staying with your deep diaphragmatic breath. When you're ready, just gently opening your eyes and taking your essential oil if you have it. If you don't have an essential oil, you could use perfume, anything that you like. I'm going to use the rosemary that we used a couple of weeks ago in our practice. So if you are using an essential oil, if you're using a scent, just gently holding it in front of your face. And taking a big deep breath in, breathe that scent into the body, connecting with your sense of smell, awakening that scent. Fully present in what you're able to detect through your nose. So noticing any memories or associations, any feelings, any emotions. Is there anything else that comes up for you as you engage this sense? And if we're not using anything in practice, that's okay. We can still have an awareness of the absence of smell. Simple joy in awakening each sense in turn. Staying with your diaphragmatic breath, just placing your essential oil down by the side. If you're using a flower, I'm going to invite you to place your flower between your hands. If you're using a crystal or anything else, just gently holding it within your palms in front of your face. Now connecting to your ability to see, connecting to sight, whatever you're holding in your hands. Being really present in the details of what you can see, the tiny details. Awareness of any colours, any patterns, the different shapes. Allowing yourself to perhaps discover something new that you wouldn't have otherwise noticed. Are there any beautiful imperfections in what you can see? And noticing it's those imperfections that actually make something perfect. Just noting whatever we're holding naturally made, naturally formed a gift. Just really connecting into that sense of being able to see, a sense of sight, fully present and awakened in that sense. And staying with your diaphragmatic breath, just placing your flower, your crystal, or whatever it is you've used for sight down by the side, and then connecting into taste, your ability to taste, whether you have a little piece of chocolate or whatever it is you're using in practice today. I'm just asking you to put just a tiny little bit within your mouth. Really engaging with your ability to taste. Let it melt within your mouth, be really present in the texture. The taste and where you can actually taste that on your tongue, which parts of the tongue feel activated. Noticing any other responses that you have within the mouth or the throat. Mindfulness consumption, any memories, any associations, any feelings or sensations that arise in the body. Again, if we have nothing that's associated there, that's okay, just letting yourself enjoy stimulating that sense. Noticing how the tongue moves within the mouth. Staying with your diaphragmatic breath. When you're ready, just reclosing your eyes. And just noticing which of the senses was the easiest to engage, which one felt the most alive and awakened. Did we have any in particular that felt quite difficult to connect to, difficult to awaken? And is that telling us anything that we could use as we move through our day-to-day lives? Can we awaken and connect to that sense a little bit more? And use those senses to help us ground into our present moment. Now just allowing your body to breathe, breathing all the way down into the depths of your belly and letting yourself breathe, ready to come into the physical part, the asana part of your practice today. Taking a big deep breath in through your nose. Let yourself sigh it out on your exhale. Anything that you want to let go of, that you feel like you need to release today, feel free to use it through your voice, taking a big deep breath in through your nose. And exhaling out through your mouth. You're going to feel like you've had such a strong release today. When you're ready, just gently opening your eyes. So as always, you get a really good sense of letting go, letting yourself release, build up of energy, all those different things if you use your voice. So if at any time you need to come into your practice in that way, then please feel free. So the practice that we're going to do today, something's made me go sniffly, is a little combination. We're going to do sequences combining warrior poses, balance postures, and little elements of power yoga as well. So it is a challenging practice, but that is okay. We're going to embrace the challenge. We're not going to run away from it. We're going to let ourselves be open to growth and building strength and confidence. So when you are ready, we're going to begin the physical part of your practice. We're going to start with cow's head pose in the bottom and eagle arms in the top. So keeping the right leg on top, let's take the right foot over the top and pointing your toes out to the sides for me. So you're resting on the outside edges of your feet, just making sure both sit bones stay down onto the ground for me. Of course, we're warming up, so just be gentle in that hip, especially if you're naturally quite tight in your hips. Then taking the right arm across the body first, and the left arm hooks underneath. Wrap your arms together into eagle arms. So again, as we're warming up, try not to cling, try not to squeeze into your hands, just let your hands feel soft. And then let the elbows rise on your inhale in line with your nose. As you exhale, let your shoulders come down to the floor. So you're creating space behind the backs of your shoulder blades. Little bit of space in the top of the back, little bit of space in the hip. Inhale as you exhale, turning over to the right hand side. I've got a little bit of chocolate left on the floor. I'm going to have to watch George like a hawk. Coming back into the center, inhale. As you exhale, unwrap your arms and just let yourself fold forwards. I'm going to do it now whilst we're down here. So just letting your upper body soften, making sure both sit bones stay down on the ground, tailbone down on the ground, but just giving yourself almost like a self-soothing hug. And then lifting back into your chest, unhook the right leg and swap them over for me. So now we have the left leg on top, right leg underneath, Don't worry too much about stacking your knees, that's okay. Be gentle, compassionate with your body as you warm yourself up. Both sit bones down on the ground, toes pointing out to the sides. This time, left arm reaching across the body, right arm hooked underneath, and wrap your arms together into eagle arms. Inhale, bringing your elbows in line with your nose as you exhale, letting your shoulders come down to the floor. As you breathe, see if you can take your breath all the way into the top of your back. Letting your shoulder blades spread across your back. Inhale. As you exhale, little turn over to the left-hand side. Don't worry if that feels quite restrictive. It's just a small movement. Little bit of mobility into your spine. Inhale back into center. Unwrap your arms. And then just letting yourself fold forward, just breathe again. That self-soothing hug, pulling yourself into a little ball. Little bit of breathing space into the left hip. Lifting into chest, inhale. And then unwrapping both legs on your exhale. So from here, we're going to come into child's pose, bringing your big toes together, your knees out to the sides. Extended child to start, reaching your fingertips to the head end of your mat. Chest down, forehead down on the floor. Completely allowing yourself to feel grounded and plugged in. Your own sacred space on your yoga mat. Every time you step onto your yoga mat, this is your safe space to commit to your own body, your own feelings, your own health, and your own well-being. Let yourself absorb all of those feelings up through your yoga mat. Noticing how it feels underneath your fingertips, underneath your hands. How the backs of your arms, your forearms are connected onto your yoga mat. Knees, all the way through your shins, your ankles, the top of your feet. And just allowing yourself to breathe big, deep breaths into the back of the chest. As you inhale, lift your chest, slide your palms in towards your knees. In the little space, I'll turn onto the side so you can see. Now we're going to do cats and cows, almost in a variation of lion's pose today. So make a straight line from your wrist to your shoulder, spread your fingers out wide. Now think about what we did last week, those micro movements with your tailbone. So as you inhale, lift your tailbone first, create a little arch in your lower back, then squeeze into the top of your back, lift your chest and look up. So we're creating a curve through your spine, but the movement is going to start from your tailbone. As you exhale, pull your tailbone down first. Then pull your belly button in towards your spine, round through your chest, and tuck your chin down, strong press down into the palms of your hands. Any movements you want to add, whether it's a little move of your head from side to side, feel free, especially if you've had quite a tricky, tough day. And again, inhale, lifting your tailbone first, tilting your pelvis forward, then stretching into your belly, then lifting into your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together, eye gaze to ceiling. If you want to go further into your neck, take your bottom set of teeth over the top set of teeth. Really good for opening your throat chakra, stretching into your neck. As you exhale, pull your tailbone down, round through your spine, belly button pulled in, chin tucked into chest, this time tilting your pelvis backwards. We'll do one more breath together here. Inhale, let the move start from your tailbone, stretch into your tummy, squeeze into shoulder blades, lift your chest, look up. Taking your nose and your chin as high as they will go, this time stretching into your tongue, big lion's breath, inhaling first. And then exhale, stick your tongue out, stretch from the base of your tongue. Good, take the round through your spine, tuck your chin down into your chest. Strong press down into palm. Bring your pelvis back into neutral, that bowl of water to lie flat. And line yourself back up through your spine. Bring your hands out in front, very gentle half lizard to start to mobilize and open through your hip. As you inhale, step the right foot as high and as wide as it will go to the right edge of your mat. Straight line from your wrist to your shoulder. Now just stay there, but any movements that you want to add in, whether it's a little rock from side to side, feel free. Keep your foot flat to start with. And as we move through your practice, we'll start to deepen how we come into lizard pose. Take a step back, bring your right knee back underneath your right hip. I've got more space on my mat now, so I'm going to move. And then it's nice and warm at the bottom there. Take a big step with the left foot up towards the left hand onto the left edge of your mat into half lizard. And again, feel free to stay exactly where you are, just lifting into chest, or gently move yourself from side to side. Any movements that you think your body needs. Now, when I say to you, move how you think is best, I want you to be quite mindful of how you do that. So instead of just kind of rocking yourself about, figure it out, be curious with your own body, see what feels best. Be playful in your practice. Learn about what your body's asking for. Give yourself a push back, bring the left knee back underneath the left hip, and ready to do that again. So aligning the spine first. Inhale. As you exhale, step the right foot high and wide onto the right edge of your mat. Strong press down into hands and lifting into chest. This time, if you want to roll onto the outside edge of your right foot, so you can see that here. So you're exposing the sole of your foot, your big toe to the ceiling, your little toe down to the ground, just to deepen the opening that we have in the right hip, the front hip. And then give yourself a push back, let your foot come flat first, right knee underneath the right hip. One more time on the left hand side. Inhale. As you exhale, take a big step forward up towards your left hand, the left edge of your mat, and then roll onto the outside edge onto your little toe if you wish. But just making sure you stay lifted up through your heart center. Sometimes when we come into lizard pose, we want to round and come to here. Try and retract your shoulder blades, lift your chest. Big deep breath. And then bring the left knee back underneath the left hip. So we're back into cat pose. Inhale, walk your hands forward, tuck your toes underneath. Exhale, and bring yourself up into plank. Strong press down into your hands, straight line from wrist to shoulder. Pull your tummy in. Imagine you squeezing your thighs together to activate your pelvic floor. Inhale. As you exhale, step the right foot back in towards the right hand, coming onto the right edge of your mat. Then step the left foot in towards the left hand, onto the left edge of your mat. Lift up through the backs of your thighs, lift up through your hips, shuffle your feet together until they're underneath your hips. And take a flop into forward fold after this, forward fold. Now, if you feel like you're not quite warm yet, try not to overstretch. Don't force your body into a place it's not ready or doesn't want to go. So whilst we're in forward fold here, if you want to pop a bend into your knees and let yourself hang forward, that's absolutely fine. Just making sure whichever option we've chosen, we've taken all the tension out the back of the neck, all the muscles of the face to feel soft, jaw to feel soft. If you need to use a block, feel free to use a block. And then any movement you want to add into your forward fold, again, let yourself be curious, but be mindful of how you come into that curiosity. Be curious with intention, whether that's a walk through your forward fold, bending into one knee, bending into the other. Maybe a shift forwards and backwards with your weight. Maybe even rolling onto the insides of your feet all the way to the outsides of your feet. See if you can discover something new about your body this evening. Maybe even hand onto the opposite elbow, let your spine completely decompress. Forward fold, such nice posture to give you that sensation of release, surrender, letting go. Take a breath and come into half lift. Pushing through the crown of your head and lifting up through your tailbone. We're trying to create a flat spine here. If you're like me, you might find that easier to do by placing your hands onto your shins. And then let yourself come back down into forward fold. You're going to take a roll up through your spine from here today. Press down into the soles of your feet. activate all the muscles in your legs first, and then gently start to roll up through your spine one vertebra at a time. Until you come into a standing position, and then move all that energy around. Just give yourself a wiggle and a jiggle and a shake. Perfect. So staying where you are for me, take a big deep breath in, open your hands to the sides, and then squeeze your shoulder blades, open through your heart and push your pelvis forward. Really gentle back bend, but reaching into fingertips. Now exhale, go the opposite way, round through your spine, tuck your chin into your chest. And again, any movements that you want to add in here, feel free to be fluid in your movement. No right, no wrong when you're in my yoga practice. Take a big deep breath in, open into your chest, reach into your fingers, and then exhale round through your spine. Chin tucked into chest, and just let your body move. Just to bring some warmth and mobility into your spine. One more breath here. Inhale, opening into chest. So fully open, receptive to the ceiling. Exhale, rounding through your spine, tucking your chin down. And then come back into the center for me. Step onto the head end of your mat, and we're going to prepare for our first warrior sequence. But before we begin, we're going to come into mountain pose as always. Opportunity to re-ground into your practice. Every time you come into mountain pose, it's like that drawing of energy to ground you back into your mat. So placing your feet underneath your hips, just give your toes a wiggle down onto your mat. See if you can feel the mat under all 10 toes. Spread them out. Even distribution of your weight through your feet. And then seeing if we can connect the hip and stack them on top of your ankles. For some people, to stack your hip on top of your ankle, you might actually feel like you're leaning forward a little bit. That is okay. Pulling the pelvis into your version of neutral. Tummy nice and soft, breathing outwards into your ribcage, down into your belly. Lifting up through your heart center, stacking your heart on top of your pelvis. Your head then stacked on top of your heart, your chin parallel to the floor, your nose pulled in line with your belly button, and lifting from the crown of your head. Soles of the feet pressed down into the floor, strong in your mountain posture. Bringing your hands into center of the chest, inhale. As you exhale, step the right foot back. We'll come into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1 to start with. So your front toes are pointing to the head end of your mat, about a 45-degree angle in the back foot. Pull your right hip forward and pull your pelvis underneath, so we're not overarching and overloading your spine here. Pelvis tucked under. Lift up from your heart center. Connect your hands. Inhale, lift your fingertips to the ceiling, eye gaze to base of thumbs. Now, if you squeeze your palms together, you're going to activate your pelvic floor. Think strength as you come into your warrior postures today. We create strength by building stability and balance in the bottom half of the body. So press through the front foot. Press down through the back edge of the back foot. Let yourself feel strong in Warrior 1. Inhale. As you exhale, hands back into heart center. Take a strong step back onto the head end of your mat into mountain pose. Realigning through your feet. So feet hip distance apart, ankles underneath the hips. Inhale. As you exhale, step the left foot back, Virabhadrasana 1. 90-degree bend in the front knee if we're able to. So we're looking to get this bone parallel to the floor. Just making sure your kneecap is in alignment with your middle 2 toes, trying not to let the knee roll in or all the way out to the side. Same thing here, pull the left hip forward and tuck your pelvis underneath. Lift up through your heart. Inhale, eye gaze to sky. Squeezing the palms together. Now in the upper body, your shoulders are still relaxed down. Create space between shoulders and ears. But reaching long and tall into your fingertips. As soon as you extend your arms, you're going to create space and length down this left-hand side of the body. Big, deep breath. Connected to your diaphragmatic breath through everything that we do this evening. Even though we've got effort, we're still making sure we keep the body in that sense of calm, restful state. Inhale. This time, bring your hands into your heart center. Exhale, come down onto your mat and take a step into plank pose. Shoulders stacked above the wrists. Squeezing into inner thighs. If you need to drop down onto knees, absolutely fine. Just make sure you bring your weight forwards. If you are in a full plank, this evening, see if you can keep yourself shifted forwards. We're going to do 3 chaturangas from here. Inhaling at the top. As you exhale, pull your elbows in towards your ribs. Keep your shoulders away from your ears and see if you can pause between you and the floor a little space. Inhale and bring yourself back up into plank. Breathe in between. Let yourself walk into challenge this evening. Don't run away from it. That's how we build your strength. Inhale at the top. Exhale, elbows into ribs, shoulders away from ears, little space between your body and the ground if you can. Inhale as you press yourself back up into plank pose. Breathe. Use your breath. Create the sound if you need that energetic release. One more. Inhale. As you exhale, elbows tucked into ribs, slowly lower down onto the ground, little space. Tummy pulled in. Inhale, back up into plank, and exhale, come into your first downward facing dog. Our first downward facing dog of our practice this evening. So now, as we're working on grounding today, I want you to think about your hands first and foremost in downward facing dog. Spread your fingers out, create a really strong base. All corners of your palms press down into the floor. So the corner underneath your index finger, underneath your little finger, underneath the base of your thumb, and then the bottom right, the bottom left of your hands, strong press down. Just checking that the hands are equal distance from the left and the right hand sides of your mat. If you want to walk through, if you want to move side to side, bend into knees, it's the first downward facing dog, feel free to move. Again, have that sense of curiosity, intentional curiosity. Are we tight in the ankles? Could we place the tops of the feet down onto the mat? But just letting yourself breathe here. Big deep breaths, chin pulled into chest. That bowl of water in your pelvis, allowing it to flow forwards. Lots of different options in practice this evening. So from here, we can either take a little lift of the right foot off the ground or sweep the right heel all the way to the ceiling into 3-legged dog. Inhale. As you exhale, bring your knee in towards your chest. Take a step through your hands, so you're framing the foot with your left and your right hand into a low runner's lunge. If you need to drop down at any time into a low crescent lunge, that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, press into your front foot. Inhale, come into high lunge. All 10 toes pointing to the head end of your mat. Again, pull the pelvis underneath. So we're creating space in your hip, protecting everything that's housed in here and protecting your lower back. Either a little space in your fingertips or continue with that squeeze into your palm. Inhale. If you want to come further, lean your torso forwards over your front leg. So you're creating a straight line from fingertips to toes, building some strength in this supporting front leg. Press down into the sole of your foot. That's where your power and your base is coming from. This back leg is just your anchor. If you squeeze into your quad here, this is what helps to straighten your leg. If you want to go further still, take a little step and bend into your knee. Whichever option you choose is absolutely fine. Lift the torso back high. Inhale, come into downward facing dog, and exhale. Breathe in downward facing dog. Big deep breath. Resetting your hands, making sure the shoulder distance apart. Imagine you're pulling your thumbs together. Pressing down through the balls of your feet. Don't worry if your heels aren't down onto the floor. It's not the goal. There's never a goal in any of our yoga postures, but heels to the floor is absolutely not the goal. Lifting the left heel either slightly off your mat or all the way to 3-legged dog. Inhale. As you exhale, bring your knee into your chest. Step through your hands into a low runner's lunge. All 10 toes pointing to the head end of your mat. Press down into your front foot. Inhale, lift your chest into high lunge. Exhale, big deep bend in the front knee. Spine aligned, think tailbone down, crown of the head tall. Feel free to stay here if this is enough for you this evening. Otherwise, inhale, let the torso come forward, straight line from fingertips to toes, making sure all four corners of your front foot are pressed down into the floor. If we want to go further, inhale, take a strong step, all your body weight pressed down into your left leg. If we've lifted the back leg, take a big step back, come back into high lunge. Inhale, everybody. Exhale, come back into downward facing dog. 5 big deep breaths. In downward facing dog. Just taking this opportunity, just checking in. So, when we tune into the body, activating the feminine. When we tune into the ego, we're overexerting on the masculine. So listen to your body. But at the same time, making sure we find that line between force and effort. And when we do feel challenged, when it does feel hard, what's your narrative like? How are you communicating with yourself? Are you letting yourself build your strength, build your confidence, and coming into embracing that challenge? Or are you walking away, not giving yourself the opportunity? Inhale, shift your weight forwards, come back into plank. 3 more chaturangas. Inhaling at the top, shift your weight forward. Exhale, elbows tucked into ribs. If you can create a little space, let yourself feel empowered. Inhale, coming back up into plank. It feels hard for me too. Breathing at the top. Good. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga, slowly lowering yourself down. Little space between your body and the floor. Inhale. Ooh, back up into plank. Breathe. The growth is outside of the comfort zone. 1 more big deep breath. Exhale, gently lower yourself down. You can do it. Press the floor away. Inhale. Come back up into plank. And exhale into downward facing dog. 5 big deep breaths. In downward facing dog, if you feel like you need to have a second to yourself, just bring yourself back down into child's pose. So whether we're down on the floor in child's pose or we're up in downward facing dog, let your breathing come back to a baseline. Big deep breaths. Let yourself feel invigorated by creating energy. All the energetic systems fired up in the body. Either a little lift of the right heel or sweep the heel back into 3-legged dog. Inhale. As you exhale, take a step through your hands. So knee back into chest, little step, and then shuffle your right foot a little bit further over towards your right hand. We're going to come into devoted warrior or humble warrior from here. So by taking the right foot more towards the right edge, we're going to create some space for your shoulder. Let the back heel come down. Inhale, bring yourself up into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Feel free to stay here. If you would like to come further, take your hands to your lower back and bind them together. Press your knuckles down towards the ground, roll your shoulders back and lift your chest. Inhale. As you exhale, bring your torso forward. Let the right shoulder come on the inside of the right leg, but then bring the left shoulder down towards the ground. Arms as high up over the top of the head as they'll go. Pressing forwards with your knuckles. Chin tucked into chest and just breathe. Big deep bend in the front knee. Let yourself feel strong in your postures today. Press through the front foot. Inhale, lift into your torso. Exhale, release your hands, take a step, and come back into downward facing dog. Well done. You know, all those benefits that we have on the body when we push ourselves just a little tiny bit outside of our comfort zone, so not creating pain within the body, creating challenge. Left heel lifts either slightly off your mat or all the way to 3-legged dog. Inhale. As you exhale, step the left foot through the hands into a low runner's lunge. Little shuffle of the left foot slightly wider over towards the left hand. Drop the back heel down. Inhale. Palms together into Virabhadrasana 1. Breathe here. Option to stay in Virabhadrasana 1. Think about that lift in your upper body, depth in your front knee, or let your hands come to lower back, bind them together. Inhale, press your knuckles down to the ground, open through your chest as you exhale. Take a big dive down, left shoulder inside of the left knee, right shoulder squares down to the ground, chin tucked into chest, arms over the top of the head. Breathe here, big deep breaths. That stability coming from your front foot. Back foot used as your anchor. Little bit of balance. See if you can go deeper. Big deep breaths. Lift into your chest, leading with the crown of your head. Inhale, exhale, release your hands, and come back into downward facing dog. 5 big deep breaths in downward facing dog. Letting the ribs come out to the sides. Pressing into the 4 corners of your hands, pressing down into the balls of your feet. Shifting your weight forwards into plank. Keeping your shoulders stacked on top of your wrists. Inhale. As you exhale, step the right foot high and wide towards the right hand, right edge of your mat. Let the left foot step in towards the left hand, left edge of your mat. Lift your hips, inhale, shuffle your feet underneath, toes pointing to the head end of your mat into forward fold. So you might feel now that forward fold feels a little bit softer, feels a little bit easier than when we first started. So just making sure all the tension in the back of the neck, the head, the face, completely letting that go. Inhale into half lift, creating a flat back. Nice elongated spine. Exhale and lower your torso back down. Press your palms together. Press your feet down into the floor. Inhale, lead with the crown of your head. Arms all the way up to the ceiling as you exhale. Pull all that self-created energy in towards your heart center. And just breathe in with intention. See if you can bring your breathing back down to a baseline. Using your breath to recreate that safe space in your body. We have one more posture within this sequence, just a little posture. So we've gone from our warrior elements, we've gone from our power yoga elements, and just to add in a little bit of balance. Tiny little posture. Stability starts from the ground. So keeping your feet, balls of your feet pressed down into the floor, spread your toes out, inhale, and slowly lift your heels, peel your feet up and off the floor so you're resting just on the balls of your feet. Go as high as you possibly can. Making sure your hips are stacked on top of your ankles, your pelvis is in neutral, your heart over your pelvis, your head over your heart. If you've started to hold your breath, breathe, slow, intentional, deep breaths. If you want to come a little bit further on your next inhalation, see if you can extend your arms up and over the crown of your head. Fingertips pointing towards the ceiling, towards the sky, growing up tall through the fingertips, but pressing down through the feet. And if you want to go further still on your next inhalation, start to see if you can lift your eye gaze up towards the base of your thumbs. Tiny little posture, but it's tricky. Good. Inhale, hands into heart center. Exhale, bring your heels down onto the ground. So if you do struggle with balance postures, it's a great one to do because we're building stability in your feet and your ankles. So just give yourself a little wiggle, give yourself a move from side to side. Get all that energy circulating back through your body. And then let yourself revisit into mountain pose. Think about what I said before. Pull all your awareness, all your focus, attention, energy back into your center. Exactly where it belongs, even if it's just for 1 hour a week. And just breathe, reconnecting to one of your senses, starting with taste. Bring your awareness back in towards your mouth. What are we able to taste in the mouth right now? Where on the tongue can we taste it? And if there's nothing, just being aware of the absence of taste. Letting the jaw relax, letting the tongue relax. And then opening your eyes, ready for our second seat. Inhale. As you exhale, step the left foot back this time. We're going to come into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So we want a 45-degree angle on the back foot, your front toes pointing to the head end of your mat, and then pull your pelvis underneath. So as you come into your warrior pose, again, we're not creating a deep spinal curve down here. Pull your tummy underneath so the tailbone is down, the crown of the head is lifted tall. If you need to shuffle that front foot over slightly to suit the anatomy of your pelvis, absolutely fine. Just make sure your knee is still in alignment with your middle two toes. Inhale, bring your arms parallel to the floor. Big deep bend in the front knee as you exhale. Take your eye gaze to your middle finger at the front. So warrior poses make you feel strong if you're intentional in how you hold them. So reach into your front hand, reach into your back hand. Take them as far out as you possibly can. Shoulders soft. And then squeeze your shoulder blades together to open, elevate, and lift your chest. Inhale, exhale, see if you can come deeper into your front knee. So the deeper we come down in this front leg, the more we're going to open through this back hip. Let yourself feel empowered in your warrior poses. Inhale, lift the front arm up towards the ceiling, the back arm down towards the back leg. So the more we squeeze down the side of the body here, the more we lengthen down here. Think about this squeeze in the side of your torso, that lift up through your fingertips. Eye gaze back to base of thumbs. Pressing into the back edge of the back foot, down through the four corners of the front foot. Inhale, straighten into your front leg. Let your arms come back parallel to the floor. Press back into your left hip. Reach as far towards the head end of your mat as you can, and come down into triangle pose from there. If you want to use a block in triangle pose, please feel free. You're much better off thinking about the rotation of your chest than simply coming down to the ground and letting your heart and your chest flop forwards. We want to come a little bit higher. Bottom hand soft, so we're not pressing into the leg, pressing into the shin or into the floor. You should be able to take that bottom hand off quite freely. Look towards your top hand. If that creates tension in your neck and feels really uncomfortable, look down, keep your head down. Sometimes I think there's no point. It's creating more tension than it's taking away. Big deep breath. Squeezing into that top shoulder blade at the back. Inhale. As you exhale, look down to your front foot. Take a big deep bend into your front knee. Your right hand is going to walk out in front towards the top right corner of your mat. Now, the further away your foot and your hand are, the more stable your base is going to be. We're coming into half moon from here. Shift your weight into your front hand, your front foot. Press your palm down, press your foot down into the floor. And as you inhale, see if you can extend and lift the back leg into half moon. Take the leg as high as feels good for you, whether you point the toe or flex the foot. The left arm reaching towards the ceiling. Find something to focus your eye gaze on and breathe. Don't stop breathing. Use your breath. Hips open to the side. And if you fall, if you tumble, that is okay. We just get back up and try again. It's okay for your practice to be messy and chaotic. It doesn't have to be perfect. Inhale. As you exhale, let the top hand come down towards the ground. Square your hips down towards the floor too. We've got that leg extended out at the back. Bend your left knee and bring the sole of your foot onto your opposite calf. So the left foot is on the right calf. We're going to come up into tree pose from here. Press your right foot, your front foot, your standing foot down into the floor. The firmer you press down, the more stable that supporting leg will be. Hands into your chest, inhale. See if you can lift your torso all the way up to standing, use and engage your glute. Then breathe when you get there into tree pose. So we can either keep the foot exactly where it is. If you want to pull the left foot a little bit higher onto the inseam of your thigh, feel free. Turning the left knee out towards the side, pulling your pelvis underneath, creating a strong connection between the sole of your foot, the inside of your thigh or your leg, and squeezing them together. That's the trunk of your tree. Your roots are down through your feet. Let them grow through the floor. Branches and leaves in your arms and hands. Inhale. See if you can take your arms up and above the crown of your head. And again, if you want to go further, take your eye gaze up towards the ceiling. But it's your tree. You let it go to wherever feels best. Inhale, exhale, let your left foot come down onto the ground. Just give yourself a little wiggle from side to side. Inhale. As you exhale, take a big step back with the left foot again. This time we've got both toes pointing to your corners of your mat. We're coming into goddess pose from here. I would say shorten your stride a little bit more than what we normally do. Inhale, arms up and overhead. As you exhale, take a big deep bend into your knees. Place your hands into heart center. Your knees going out towards your little toes. And again, as we come down into goddess pose, be really conscious of creating a big deep arch in your back. Pull your pelvis underneath, tailbone and root down into the floor, crown of your head pulled tall. If you want to come a little bit further into goddess, come up onto your tiptoes today. Every time you exhale, see if you can deepen that bend into your knees, keeping the knees out to the sides. Really strong posture in goddess. We're going to revisit a lion's breath whilst we're here. Let yourself feel empowered. Take a big deep breath in through your nose. Stick your tongue out. Exhale. If your heels are lifted, place them down onto the ground. Stay exactly where you are. Press through the floor first. Inhale. Press down into the ground, straighten into your legs. Exhale and turn onto the head end of your mat. Just give yourself a little bit of movement, little wiggle and a shake. Well done. Big deep breath. Opportunity to bring the breath back into a baseline. Building the strength in your heart. You can feel your heart beating deeply. Just think the stronger heart. Inhale. As you exhale, step the right foot back this time. Again, ready for Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Pressing into the back edge of the back foot. Front toes pointing to head end. Inhale. Arms parallel to floor. Exhale. Big deep bend in the front knee. Just checking on your knees, making sure that it's in line with your middle two toes, pelvis pulled underneath, middle finger. On the exhale, see if we can deepen Warrior 2 again. Let yourself feel strong whilst you're here. Reach into your fingertips. Press into your feet. Imagine you squeezing your thighs together. We're creating length and strength at the same time. Inhale. Lift the front arm up towards the ceiling as you exhale. The back hand down the back leg. Squeeze into the right hand side of the body. Lift up through the left. And then over towards the back. So we're creating all this length down the side of the body here. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Let your arms come back parallel to the floor. Press back into your back hip. Reaching forwards and into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Squeezing into the top shoulder blade. Breathe some length on the inside of your front leg. Press into the front foot. Again, imagine you're squeezing your thighs together, create some activation. This top hip, pressing it towards the foot end of your mat. giving all your kidneys a good squeeze. Amazing for your detox system. Inhale. As you exhale, bend into your front knee, shift your weight forward, and let the left hand reach out in front towards the top left corner of your mat. Shift your weight into your front foot, your front hand, and create a really strong, stable base. As you inhale, see if you can drag the back foot up, and then lift it towards the ceiling. The right hand reach into the ceiling too, squeezing into shoulder blades, hips open to the side. You can keep a little bend in your supporting knee if you wish, but just making sure we keep grounding postures tonight. Press through your palm, press through your foot. Let yourself be connected to the floor. And again, if you're a little bit wobbly, that's okay. If you fall all the way down, that's okay too. Just pick yourself back up and back into your practice. Knowing that every time we try, we get a little bit better over time. Inhale. As you exhale, let the right hand come down to the ground. Square your hips towards the floor. Keep the right leg pointing out towards the back. And then connect the sole of the foot onto the calf. Strong press. Let your roots come back down through the floor, ready for tree pose. As you lift yourself up, squeeze into your left bum cheek as well. Hands pressed together. Inhale. Press through the floor, lifting into torso. Exhale when you get there. And just breathe. If you want to amend where the foot is, that's absolutely fine. Take hold, pull it all the way to the top if you wish. You can even come into a half lotus from here as well, whichever feels best for you. Squeezing the foot in towards the thigh. Turning the right knee out, pelvis pulled underneath. Again, think about your roots, let them grow down through the floor. Then think about your branches and your leaves. Inhale as you lift your arms up and overhead. Exhale, either stay where you are or take your eye gaze up towards the ceiling. Think about your foot locks. Squeeze your foot into the floor. Create your Pada Bandha. Pada Bandha means foot lock. Lock your foot down into the ground. You might get a little bit of cramp. Perfectly normal. Absolutely okay. Just stay there. Let yourself build stability in your ankles especially. Good. Inhale, hands into heart center. Exhale. Bring the right foot down. Just give yourself a little wiggle and a jiggle and a shake. Very good. Arms up and overhead. Inhale. Take a dive down into forward fold as you exhale. Inhale into half lift. Exhale, take a step or a jump and come into plank. Let your weight shift forwards. So making sure we reconnect every time we come into this posture. When you start to get tired, you might start to get a little bit floppy and almost as if you're not coming fully into your posture. Let yourself feel really strong. Big deep breaths. As you exhale, right foot in towards the right hand, right edge of your mat, left foot into the left hand, left edge of the mat, and then sit yourself down for me. Cross your feet over. And then this time we're going to reconnect back into your sense of smell. So wherever you've used an essential oil or if you've used something else, if you've got nothing, that is okay too. But if you are using an essential oil, like we did just at the beginning of your practice, just closing your eyes and placing it just in front of your nose. Reconnecting to your ability to smell. Reinvigorating back through that sense. Just noticing how easy it is to get disconnected when you're doing something else. Probably haven't thought about anything that you can smell particularly in the last sort of 10-15 minutes. If you're not using anything, just reconnect to the sense. Even if there's a complete absence of smell, we can still keep our awareness there too. Back into your deep diaphragmatic breath and bringing your breath back down into a baseline. We're going to come into our third and final warrior sequence. So of course we've gone from warrior 1 and devoted warrior into warrior 2 and reverse warrior. So we are of course going to come into warrior 3 and a flying warrior from here. So shift your weight forwards, lift into your hips, come back into forward fold. Inhale into half lift, lift into your chest, take a step or a jump and come into downward facing dog. 5 big deep breaths in downward facing dog. Reconnect to grounding, so hands back pressed, shoulder distance apart, equal distance from the left and right sides of your mat. Toes pressed down into the floor, perhaps just turning them slightly in if we want to bring some freedom into your lower back. That bowl of water, think about your pelvis, let it flow forwards. Chin tucked into chest. Light lift of the right heel or sweep the heel all the way to three-legged dog. Inhale. As you exhale, knee into chest. Take a little step through the hands, come back into runner's lunge. All 10 toes, all 10 fingers pointing towards the head end of your mat. Press down into the sole of your foot. Inhale, come up into our high lunge. We can stay here. If we need to catch our breath and come down onto the ground, that is okay too. Reaching tall into fingertips, pulling the pelvis underneath. If we do want to come further, let your hands come to your lower back. Press your knuckles down towards the ground, just as we did before. Inhale. As you exhale, torso comes forward. Again, as we did before, I've built you up strategically in phases. Press your weight forwards. See if you can let the back leg lift up and off your mat into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. If you still feel okay, take a breath in as you exhale. Let your chest come down towards the ground into a flying warrior. Again, pressing through the sole of the foot. And if you feel a little bit wobbly, that's okay. Just come back into your posture when you feel ready. Breathe. Find something to fixate your eye gaze on. Oh. Inhale. As you exhale, take a step into downward facing dog. Little bit of fire in the leg. So just letting that lactic acid dissipate. Any movements you need to add into your downward facing dog, absolutely fine. Let yourself come into challenge. When you come into a balanced posture, see if you can fight against the wobble. If you are quite wobbly, see if you can try as much as possible to keep yourself stable. Notice your narrative. Notice how you communicate with yourself in balanced postures as well. Inhale, little lift of the left foot or sweep the heel all the way to three-legged dog as you exhale. Bring the knee into your chest, step the foot through the hands into runner's lunge. Toes pointing towards the head end of the mat. Strong press down into the sole of the foot. Inhale, come into high lunge, pelvis pulled underneath. So the deeper we bend this front knee, the more you're going to be able to propel yourself forwards. Inhale, stay where you are if that feels like enough for you this evening. Exhale. Otherwise, drop your hands down to the bottom of your back, intertwine your fingers and press your knuckles down into the ground. Inhale. Bring your torso over the front leg. Shift your weight forwards, drag the back foot in. Inhale as you lift your foot into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. If we want to go further, inhale. As you exhale, bring your torso down towards the ground, down towards your supporting leg into Flying Warrior. Inhale, well done. Exhale, come back into downward facing dog. Breathe. Big deep breath. Maybe revisiting that affirmation that we had last week. I am the power. I am the power. Let yourself feel confident. Let yourself feel strong. And just know that however your body is moving this evening is absolutely perfect. It doesn't mean we're a failure, or it doesn't mean we're not very good at yoga if we don't do the harder postures. There is no good, there is no bad, no perfect in yoga. However your body moves is already perfect. Drop yourself down onto your knees, come into cat pose. And just breathe. Thinking about all the ways that the body does already move and celebrating and being grateful for those instead of thinking about all the ways that it's not. So from here, we're going to come into a tiger tail posture. Extend your right leg out to the back. As you inhale, like you would in cow, take a little drop down into your tummy. Think about your tailbone first. Lift up through your chest and a squeeze into your shoulder blades. As you exhale, bring your right knee as high up towards your right shoulder as you possibly can, keeping your foot and your knee as high off the floor as you possibly can. So we're engaging through the hip, engaging through your glute. Inhale, extend your leg back out behind. Point your toe and come back into tiger tail, shoulder blades down through your spine, keeping the right hip down towards the ground, so we're not quite turning out to the side. As you exhale, bring your knee in towards your shoulder, keep your leg as high up off the floor as you possibly can. You can breathe in between, you don't have to hold your breath. Inhale, back into tiger tail, extend your foot out to the back, drop the right hip down, little bend through your spine, eye gaze forwards. Exhale, knee into shoulder as high up off the ground as we possibly can. We're going to do 3 more from here. Option to come a little bit higher. Walk your hands forward, tuck your back toe underneath. Inhale, come into 3-legged dog. As you exhale, bring your knee towards the back of your arm, towards your tricep. Either pause and hold that there, or come down into a chaturanga, little bend into your elbows. Inhale, either into tiger tail or all the way into 3-legged dog. On the next exhale, shifting the weight forwards, bringing the knee to the back of the arm, whether we're on the knees or all the way down through chaturanga, choose your option. Big deep breath in, inhale, 1 more together here. Either tiger tail or 3-legged dog, squeeze the glute. Regardless of the posture, as we exhale, bring the knee in towards the tricep, in towards the shoulder, keeping the knee high up off the floor. And then bring yourself into cat pose. Bring yourself into child's pose. Just breathe. Opportunity to send a big thank you into the body for letting us move this evening, letting us have the opportunity to work on our health, better our health, make a contribution to our own health and well-being. We could have easily not made that decision today, but we haven't. We've chosen to do something positive for our bodies, for our minds, hormones, spirits, everything. We've made that decision. And so many people won't have done that today. Bringing yourself forward, coming back into cat pose. So shoulders to start over the wrists, knees to start underneath the hips. Inhale into tiger tail. This time left leg extending out to the back, squeezing to your glute, and then take a little arch through your lower back, your shoulder blades down your back. Eye gaze either forwards or feel free to look a little bit higher here. As you exhale, bring your spine into neutral first, and then knee up towards the shoulder, engage your glute, keep your leg as high up off the floor as possible. Take a little look towards your toes here as well. Inhale back into tiger tail, extend your left leg, drop your hip down, eye gaze. And then exhale, knee to shoulder, big squeeze down that left hand side of the body as well here. Blood flow into all those big juicy muscles. Inhale into tiger tail, stretching into belly. Let the weight come into the left hand here. Exhale, knee as high up towards the shoulder as it will possibly go. 3 more, either stay where you are or take a little walk forward with your hands, tuck your back toe underneath. Inhale into 3-legged dog. Exhale, let your weight come forwards, connect the knee to the top of the arm. Either stay and hold that here in a plank or come down into a chaturanga. Inhale, 3-legged dog. your tummy in towards your spine, activate your core. Exhale, knee to the top of the arm, all the way up to the shoulder, down towards the ground in Chaturanga if we're going for it. Inhale, pull the tummy in. Three-legged dog, you're nearly there. One more big deep breath in. Exhale, last one here. Last little challenge. Let yourself walk into it. Inhale, come into cat pose. And then come into extended child's pose. Just breathe. Use this opportunity to let your breath come back down to a base. Giving yourself a little bit of acknowledgement that you need, that you deserve. For doing even just one thing where you've chosen yourself today. Even if you say that within your mind's eye, I've chosen me. Giving yourself the opportunity to reconnect back into the present moment this time, into your ability to hear. As you're breathing deeply, diaphragmatically in extended child's pose, just noting what can you hear? Different sounds are you able to hear? Any sounds within the room that you find yourself in? Any sounds close by? And then what sounds are we able to hear far away? Just acknowledging our experience through that sense right now. So hopefully your breathing rate, your heart rate's come back down. Bring yourself up into cat pose if you're feeling okay. Cross your feet over at the back for me. And then extend your feet out in front. We've got one little mini sequence to go. And then our practice is complete. Extending your toes towards the head end of your mat and pointing them down towards the ground. Squeeze your insides of your feet, your calves, your inner thighs together. Let your hands come by your hips. Your fingertips can either point to the head end of your mat, they can go out to the sides like a seal, or they can go all the way to the foot end of your mat. It's completely up to you. So we're going to go into Parsvottanasana from here. Press your hands down into the ground. Think about your tailbone first. Inhale, lift your tailbone up and off the floor, pull it underneath. Then press down into your hands. Lift your hips as high as they will go. Squeeze into your shoulder blades. Pull your tummy in towards your spine. You can either keep your chin tucked into your chest. If you feel like it's in your practice, let your head flop back completely. For some people, including me, if you let your head flop back, it makes me feel really nauseous. So if that's you, absolutely fine. You can stay here with me. Just pull your tummy underneath, pull your pelvis underneath, press into the floor, inhale, and then as you exhale, really slowly lower yourself down. Try not to just let yourself take a little flop. Inhale, bring your knees into your chest, into boat pose. Lifting through your heart center. See if you can pull your chest tall, so we're not rounding through your back and overloading down here. Lift your chest up high. Pull into your hip flexors, squeeze into your tummy, and then bring your right knee into your chest and see if you can extend your left leg a little bit higher. Breathe, big deep breaths. Breathe with intention. Add the depth, add the length to your breath. Bring the left knee into your chest, extend the right leg this time. Keep your body strong. Even though this is a hard posture, it's a little bit uncomfortable, it's a challenge, it's benefiting your body in so many different ways, especially your pelvic and your female health. Let you have those benefits, let yourself have them. Bring both knees into chest, inhale. As you exhale, slowly start to roll down through your spine, extend your feet. Like you're opening a book, and then let yourself come down onto the ground. Just breathe. Big deep breaths. I'm going to finish this little sequence by bringing the soles of the feet together into a reclined butterfly. Pull your heels as high up into your body as they'll possibly go. Now squeeze the insides of your feet, soles of your feet, 10 toes, squeeze them together. Inhale, pull your pelvis underneath. Again, think about your tailbone first. Peel your lower back up and off the floor, the middle of your back, come high up onto the top of your back and tuck your chin into your chest. We have a variation of a half reclined butterfly and a half bridge pose here. Engage into your glutes, your big juicy bum muscles. Squeeze to lift your hips up, keep them engaged. Inhale, see if you can go higher through your hips. As you exhale, rolling down in reverse through your spine, one vertebra at a time until you're at the bottom. Gorgeous. Bring your knees together, hug them into your chest. So give yourself a big hug and then take a little roll. Cross your feet over first. Take a little roll up onto the tops of your shoulders. As you roll down through your spine, see if you can catch yourself back in a boat pose. And then let your feet come down to the ground. Lift into your chest. Place your hands down onto the ground. Last little bit from here. Press down into the palms. Inhale. Lift your hips as high as they will go. Squeeze into your shoulder blades. Tuck your pelvis underneath. Power up the whole posterior chain. Shoulder blades engaged. Glutes engaged. Hamstrings, calves engaged. Inhale. See if you can go slightly higher as you exhale. Slowly start to lower yourself back down onto the ground. Good job. Inhale, knees into chest, last time in boat. See if you can lift your toes a little bit higher this time. Think about the health of your body. Support your health, nurture your health. Here we are, we're doing it right now. Bring the right knee into your chest, extend the left leg. You've got to shake your leg like me, don't worry, it's okay. Bring the left knee into the chest, extend the right leg, breathe. Little smile makes it so much easier. Both knees into chest, breathe. Good, one more big deep breath in. And then as you exhale, slowly unfolding like a book, like an open book, until you're all the way down onto the ground. Just breathe. Bringing the soles of your feet in towards one another, your heels as high up into the body as they will go. Hands gently pressed down onto the ground. Start with your tailbone, slight peel up and off the floor. Inhale, press down into the outside edges, little toes down into the floor. Lift your hips as high as they will go. Come right up onto your shoulders if you're able to. Pull your tummy in, tuck your pelvis underneath, engage through your glutes. See if you can go just a little bit higher on this last breath. And then as you exhale, rolling down through your spine, one vertebra at a time. Oh, until you're all the way on the floor. Bring your knees together. This time, give yourself a hug and just stay where you are. Little self-soothing hug. We're going to move into Shavasana from here. If you want to grab anything that's going to keep you a little bit cozier, whether it's a blanket, whether it's a pillow, whatever you think is going to bring a sense of comfort. As we come into Shavasana in this last practice, I want you to feel as comfortable as you possibly can. So you don't even have to lay on your back if you don't want to. If you want to be on the side, if you want to be on your front even, that's absolutely fine. Whether you want to stay in reclined butterfly, whether you want to bring your knees together just to take your hip in an opposite direction, absolutely fine. Whatever feels best for you. But if you do want to come into Shavasana, just allowing your feet to extend down towards the head end of your mat, letting your palms face up towards the ceiling. So to me, this is actually the most important part of your practice. We're good at being active. We're good at letting ourselves be on the go all the time. We're usually not so great at letting ourselves recover and rest and having that sense of stillness. Make that commitment to yourself, where you've got no demands, no expectations on your energy, your time, your emotions. You can just have a few minutes where you let yourself completely be. Or gently closing your eyes. We've had quite an active, quite a dynamic practice today, so it's really normal if you feel like you've built up a little bit of tension. That's okay. Take this opportunity to let that tension go now. Especially around the soles of your feet, around your hips, around your shoulders and your jaw. So within our Shavasana today, we're actually going to go through a Yoga Nidra practice. As we go through Yoga Nidra, just listen to where we are in the body, and as we move through different parts of the body, see if you can allow each bit in turn to relax. And if your mind wanders off, that's okay. Just bring your awareness, your attention back into the practice, wherever you find yourself at that time. Start by taking your awareness down into your right big toe, your second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, sole of the foot, top of the foot, ankle, calf, shin, right knee, right thigh, right hip, right side of the waist, top of the back, shoulder, top of the right arm, right forearm, hand, thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger. Taking your awareness down into your left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe, sole of the foot, top of the foot, ankle, calf, shin, left knee, left thigh, hip, left side of the waist, back, shoulder, top of the left arm, forearm, left hand, thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger. Get your awareness into your neck, throat, jaw, tongue, cheek, corners of the eye, forehead, the whole right hand side of the body. The whole left hand side of the body. The front of the body. The back of the body. The bottom half of the body. Top half of the body. The head. The whole body. The whole body completely relaxed. Connecting with your ability to feel. Just noticing where you can feel the points of contact between your body and the floor. Where is your body connected down onto your mat? Any spaces between your body and the mat? Perhaps around the backs of your knees or around your lower back of your neck. Where you're able to feel your clothes on your skin. The air on the exposed parts of your skin. Even the feeling of your own hair on your head. Bringing your awareness back into your body, back into the space that you hold within the four corners of your mat. Just claiming your space as your own. Position of your body within the four corners of the room. And then just adding a little bit of life into your body, wiggling the tiny little bones, little joints in your fingers and your toes. Perhaps making your movements a little bit bigger. Feel free to take a big deep stretch if you want to take a big deep stretch. And then when you're ready, taking a roll onto your right hand side, just making a little cushion with your hands, just resting underneath your head. Just let your body rest there for a second. even though we've had a really active practice this evening, we've created that lovely slow pace down on the floor. So as you bring yourself back up into meditation, just let yourself come up slowly. Try not to spring back up. Just let yourself come up nice and slowly. And we're going to finish our practice this evening in the exact same way that we started. So taking either your flower or your crystal or whatever you used at the beginning of your practice, just letting yourself reconnect to the ability to see any details, any colours, any patterns. And letting yourself feel re-grounded. And just using this opportunity to say goodbye to the spring, being grateful for everything that the spring has brought in for us, everything that we've shared together in our yoga practice, and all the gifts that yoga brings us as well as we start to go full power into the next season and into summer. So all of the light in me acknowledges all of the light in you.